Alright, Arrow fans, time for the second episode of Review the Day, which is Suicidal Tendencies. The episode begins with Dig and Lila's wedding day. Oliver arrives late for photos, but on time for the wedding. Ray meets Dig and says hello to Oliver. Minutes after this, though the original minister couldn't make it, Ray mentions that he is a minister, so he ends up marrying Lila and Dig. During the reception, Laura and Oliver talk about how she's training with someone new, resulting in her arm needing a brace. Felicity walks up and mentions having caught the bouquet. After Laurel walks away, Oliver makes sure that Felicity is happy as that he's all he ever wanted for her. Later that evening, Oliver's trying to track down who's framing the arrow. As this occurs, he sends Dig and Lila on their honeymoon. They get into a car and find out that their honeymoon is to be interrupted by Waller giving Lila a mission with the Suicide Squad. Dig adds himself to the team and they learn that Cupid is the other member of the team. While Sid goes to Casnia, Oliver learns that Ray built a suit and has figured out that the real arrow is him. Ray has also declared he wants to find the arrow and arrest him for the crimes he has committed. He gets upset with Felicity when he realizes that she knew Oliver was the arrow. In Casnia, Floyd remembers the past when Lila and Dig mentioned being married and having a kid. He remembers how he was screwed up after overseas and held his daughter Zoe and wife at gunpoint. It resulted in his wife getting a restraining order on him and Hive approaching him to shoot Andrew Diggle for cash. Upon going to save the senator, they learn that he was behind the hostages and has men who set up bombs upon the building. Deadshot ends up staying and is killed in the blast after the hostages are set free. This whole mission causes Dig to mention leaving Team Arrow and Lila to quit Argus. The episode ends with Maceo dressing up as the arrow and shooting the mayor who was in a meeting with Quentin and Laura Lance, Ray Palmer, and Felicity. Ray had come to tell them that he had changed his mind about having the arrow arrested. So anyway, let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. This is the first episode where the flashbacks are centered on someone who isn't a recurring character. This is Floyd Lawton's last physical appearance of the present. It was killed off due to the character's usage in the Suicide Squad film. And now finally, let's take a look at some goofs. Laurel should have multiple scars on her arms from armor training, but are invisible on her during the wedding, even though she is wearing a sleeveless dress. After the Atom and the Arrow reach an understanding, Oliver walks away without retrieving or even acknowledging Roy, who was unconscious after being electrocuted by Ray. Mark Guggenheim admitted this was a scripting/editing error on the writer/producer's part. So overall, I think this episode is kind of good, and yeah, I do like the fact that Dig and Lila got married and stuff, so yeah, good for them. So overall, I give Suicidal Tendencies 3 arrowheads out of 5. When I tune in bed, it's way to take a look at the final episode of the day, Public Enemy. So, until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.